All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Studio Bridge. Tonight is our fourth session with Vanessa R. Del Rey. And we were just kind of joking back and forth of what she's going to do tonight. She's making something. She's drawing. She's going to be either working on a commission, or possibly doing something specifically for somebody. Hey, I have a couple of I like doing this. We can see Vanessa, so we know what she looks like. But I have some shots here that I want to pull up, just because if you haven't seen any of the others, please go back to the first night and watch. Why is it doing that? And watch, so you can see all the beautiful work, because the work is really, really impressive. And I know Vanessa's going to make a great piece for us tonight, or do several things. I'm not exactly sure what she's going to do, but we're going to make her work hard in front of us. You got to see her draw. That's what it all comes down to. If you have not seen the previous episodes, go back and look. They're really, really terrific. So, Vanessa, I'm going to stop sharing, and then you can turn your camera on.
Okay.
You can turn your camera on. And just a reminder, we will not be here next week. We will not be back to the 3rd, when Lake Hurwitz will be our featured guest. So if you show up next week, you won't be able to get online. You won't be able to see us. So here we go.
There's a ton of recorded content though. So if you
Good
go
week
back
to
to the
catch up.
archive. Yeah, go back to the archives.
Good week to catch up. So what are we looking at, Vanessa?
This is something I already drew for a commission. It's from a Witcher character, Triss. And I also have Captain Carter commission that I could work on.
Right.
But maybe I was gonna let you, John, decide. Maybe do something different.
Okay. Well, you said something that you put your foot in the water by saying something cute.
Yeah.
For my
cute.
grand. So and since I really have never seen you do cute before, I'll let you decide what cute is.
Okay, so what's your favorite flower?
That's a tough one. How
Or your daughter's son?
about I love like lilies. I love, we'll say an orchid. How about that?
Lilies, orchids. Okay, awesome.
Pretty far apart, but I'm kind of thinking. I'm trying to think of irises is what I was trying to think of. I love the Monet's irises, but you can choose.
Okay, let's do maybe like an orchid. Maybe one of the yellow ones. Let's do orchid fairy. Orchid fairies. Yeah, let's go. We got some reference for the flower. Okay. Can you see that pretty well?
So there's a question here that kind of relates to this from the audience. It said, if you had the time, what genre or story concept would you want to draw for yourself?
For myself?
Yeah.
I could do so many things. My go-to is mermaids. Just because they're fun. I like scales, I like fish.
Scary.
But I also like fairies.
Well, I like the Orchid Fairy. I think that's a good choice.
Yeah. So maybe I'll do like a whole arching composition.
Timmy, I have a question for you. If you're
Yeah,
close
let's
by.
hear it.
Is the audience seeing like her full screen?
Yep.
Cool. All right.
I was excited. I thought it was going to be like a personal question.
Timmy.
I was like, oh, it's so nice. I'm getting roped into this conversation. This is great.
Timmy, when you have the time, what do you like to draw?
Yeah, I was like, what are your favorite flowers? Well, let me tell you what my favorite flowers are.
Tell us, Timmy, what's your favorite flower?
Oh man, I don't know.
You don't have an answer?
You know what? I really like I can't say flowers, but I just bought a maple tree, a red dragon maple tree. I love maple trees. So
Cool.
yeah. Um
Are those the ones with the syrup?
with the what?
With the syrup?
Mm, not the kind that I got, no.
No.
They're but very like bright colored leaves. They might have a sap of some sort, but not that I know about.
Okay. Cool. I don't have a favorite flower myself.
You were talking about drawing mermaids, Vanessa, and I reached out to an artist as a guest speaker for next year for us, and I'm just wondering if these worlds have crossed at all because her name is Afua Richardson. Have you ever heard of her?
I've met her, yeah.
Oh yeah, so she's guest speaking with us next year, and she draws tons of mermaids.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's cool.
Yeah, she seemed really nice. It was like a situation where we don't have any. I mean, I guess we have mutual friends because we know you, but it was like a cold call invite, and she was really nice, and
Awesome.
yeah, so,
Great comics.
yeah,
Cool covers. I met her at Austin Comic Con in like 2018 or something, 2019. And she was dressed up as one of the Dora Milaje girls.
I saw she's like kind of a Renaissance person. Like she does like really amazing cosplay.
Yeah.
She also is like John and I were learning more because we originally reached out to her for her comics and learned that she is like an award-winning like singer, and she's like sung with all these like amazing like soul bands or like
Oh
funk bands.
shit.
She was like I think she was a backup singer, I think, for Parliament, which is like an
I didn't know.
iconic funk band.
Wow.
You're muted, John. But yeah, no, yeah, she's like a legit performer. So
I didn't know that. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So anyways,
She
but
also makes comics.
I asked because she part of her portfolio now is like a ton of mermaids, so you should go.
Yeah, she's cool. But I've never seen her mermaids at all, actually.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she's done or she did some of the Black Panther.
Yeah, she did. She did the Black Panther. That was how I stumbled across her work. She did Black Panther, and then the thing I might have seen was with Lovecraft Country.
Oh wow, awesome. I
Yeah.
didn't know she did that.
Well, I don't really know the affiliation because I thought that Lovecraft, like I only knew Lovecraft Country as the HBO series.
Oh, yeah.
Like in the series, there's like comic books that the kid is making.
Oh
And
yeah, that was her. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that was her. And they talk about a comic book in the series, and they say
Yeah.
her by name.
Her
Like,
name, yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
remember now the episode.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, small world. I figured you might know her. So
So you're gonna have her next year?
yep, yeah. Next spring. Guest
Next
speaker.
spring.
So pretty stoked. Yeah.
Awesome.
Timmy, was all I was going to suggest about flowers to you is the only ones you need to know are the ones that Gianna likes.
Yeah. I've never had, yeah, flowers are a lot of work. Or at least I think they are. But, like, I don't know. I spend a lot of time working in my yard. So, but
They are a lot of work. I can barely keep a plant alive.
how's gardening going?
It's going great. I can barely keep them alive. Pests, man, they're bad. Pests are bad for the plants. Yeah. It's a lot of research, a lot of trial and error. So, trying to figure out where I'm gonna sit this fairies. And this one here.
Hey, John, if you stop sharing your video, we might get a better focus on the drawing. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Hey man, I was kind of wondering here. Hold on.
No, no worries.
Can do another here.
Hey, Vanessa,
Yeah.
I think we're losing some focus on your drawing. Are you able
Yeah.
to either get the camera a little closer or do you have more light available? Sorry.
It's all
I
right.
don't know. I don't know if the autofocus was off or if we could get more light, that might be helpful too. Are you using manual settings?
Only for the focus
And the exposure, right? Looks like,
and exposure. Should I do auto?
yeah, you might have more luck with auto.
Is that okay? Is that cool? Can you see it?
That's better for sure.
The zoom is all the way in.
Mhm. Yeah.
It might be the autofocus. Is the autofocus off?
Off.
Okay.
You know, you might turn it on.
On autofocus.
You might turn it on. Yeah, so the autofocus is on. Sorry.
See. Is that better?
John, what do you think?
Soft. I don't, we had it working so well last week. I don't, it might be the amount of light.
How about now?
Hmm.
No?
John, what do you think?
I-
It
Well, here, hold on a second. I'm gonna
it's
pin.
looking okay on my end, relatively, but
That looks better.
yeah,
Yeah,
it does, doesn't it?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
a
yeah, definitely.
lot better.
Okay, cool, sweet. Sorry, Vanessa. Thank you.
But
I'm
it's,
glad
it
we got that.
still seems like the autofocus is on when she's moving because
Mm-hmm.
it's bouncing around.
It is. Should I turn it off?
Yeah, let's turn it off and then let's make sure that the focus is on the canvas, not on your hand. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks out of focus to me.
Yeah, can you dial that focus in to where we're sure it's on the paper? That seems better, doesn't
Yeah.
it, John? Yeah,
There you go, right there.
perfect.
Yep. Sorry about
Thanks.
that, everybody. But I want to get it right.
That look okay?
Yeah.
Great. Yep.
Okay. Maybe like one more fairy. Somewhere around here.
Well, Vanessa, why don't you explain a couple of things? What type of paper are you drawing on?
I'm drawing on the Stonehenge white paper. It's
Is
9x12. It doesn't really say much about.
it
It has a
just,
little bit of texture.
is it pretty smooth?
It has a little bit of texture.
And why do you choose that? Is it because of the watercolor or?
Yeah, it'll hold the water a little better than Bristol or oops, or any other regular drawing paper. I feel like watercolor or like heavier paper is better for dry brushing, for example.
And then, what are you drawing with?
This is a dry erase blue pencil. Indigo blue. Okay, so got the third fairy in there. And now I'm gonna start putting color down. A loose sketch to see just where everything is. I might make this one a little bit smaller.
I
Normally, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I really get a kick how you do any of these things because you, you pretty much just kind of throw yourself in there. You're kind of designing on the fly.
On the fly. Normally I would step away. I would step away for a second and see if everything looks good. Like I would just go get something to eat for a minute and then come back and do the color. But this is a quick one, so, and I think it's a nice triangular
Right.
composition. So very simple, straight to the point. Fantasia inspired. It's my palette for gouache. I'm going to use some deep purple, some orange, yellow, some crimson, and maybe blue, and a bright green.
Do you mix your palette up a lot, or is this something that's pretty consistent for this subject?
This is what I use most of the time for anything, really. I'm gonna use a lot of yellow, so I'm gonna pour a lot of yellow. Some crimson, deep purple. And the orange. And I think I'm gonna go with large brush. This is number 10. Kolinsky. I don't know what number this is, probably a 6. Kolinsky and the 4 Kolinsky. So I think I'm gonna do a light green for the background. And I'm gonna mix in a little bit of yellow. See. It's like a yellow green. And I'm just gonna sort of silhouette everything in.
You mean just by painting the background?
Yeah. I want the wings to have a little bit of a glow on them. Some paper. Get some of the water out. And all this is a little bit of green in it, so I'm gonna just block it in with the background as well, because all the stems are gonna be green. I have a reference for a flower on the computer. I'm looking at.
That's what you just Googled, right?
Yeah.
I love that. Pull out a topic, Google it, and then you're making a picture like minutes later. The expedited process of the comic artist.
I mean, it's just a reference, right? Can use it exactly as is. Okay. So I normally work on a few at a time, a few pieces at a time while one's drying. I don't really use a hair dryer. I don't know why. I guess sometimes I'm just lazy and I don't want to use it. So I work on a couple of pieces at a time. I would now then be drawing something else or painting the background on something else and letting that dry and then going back to this.
You could work on one of your commissions while that's drying.
Yeah, I could do that.
Be productive.
But maybe we're just gonna go and do yellow on top of this. And see what happens. I mean, it's pretty dry by now. It's only a very light, wet layer. And I'm gonna try to leave this pretty wet so that I can go on top with a little bit of red in the center of the flower because it has like a red center, this orchid. So to do that, I gotta work pretty fast. Get most of the petals in there. And then do like a little touch in the center. That's gonna dry much lighter than it looks, just from practice. So I'm gonna get rid of some yellow here. And then when that's dry, now I gotta step away from it. And this is dry. Continue. That's right. And for this one, I'm gonna start with a dark background. It's like a mix of navy blue, deep purple, and a little bit of green. More blue. And then
You must have a pretty good idea of what you want from these before you start painting, right?
kind of, I mean, it just comes from doing it so many times. I kind of use the same things, I do the same things often. So I kind of know already what I'm gonna do. But even if I do, some of it is not always the same. Like it's not always the same amount of purple that I put in one piece. Sometimes it's more blue than purple, or more red. But light wise, like light direction wise, it's mostly the same, consistent.
Explain that. What do you mean? Light direction wise?
The light direction that I normally use is one setting. Like I normally do, but from below up, or like a straight from like a straight point lighting. But that means one direction, I guess, like only one source of light in one direction.
So this figure, was that a referenced figure? Was there anything you're using as a light source, or are you just inventing that?
The light source I'm coming up with by myself. I have used it so many times that I kind of know already what it does when the light comes from that direction. I know, or I have a very close idea of what it looks like when the light is coming from that direction. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
I kind of already know what it looks like, or like what the shapes are shaded like when the light is coming from that direction. I use from up, down, and down, up kind of angles if I want to do like something scary. Try those angles. If I want it to look mysterious, heroic. Yeah, kind of don't have reference for this lady up. Her name is Triss from The Witcher. There's so many costumes for this character. And they wanted me to do sort of like an erotic kind of pose with their most revealing costume, which is very weird. It's like it's got vines on it. It's like green and gold. And the sandals are strange looking. It's like her chins are covered, but not her toes. And so her hair's red. See. This is green.
So far, this is all gouache, right?
This is a wash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you're making it, it feels like watercolor. Why do you opt for the gouache?
It helps me build up more opaque than watercolor does. Watercolor is very thin
Right.
and transparent, and gouache gives me a little bit more more substance, more.
Do you ever go real heavy with the gouache? Go completely opaque?
Yeah, for some areas I do. And when I need it, I do it. I was the store that I was working on, I couldn't get the arm really to look well, so sometimes I have to cake in the paint. And
Wow.
watercolor would never allow me to do that.
That looks great.
Gouache does. So I had to redo the whole arm, and I went pretty opaque on it. But even the layers that are thin, like watercolor, look opaque in a way. So you can barely tell the difference, I would say.
So multiple layers, you built it up. Do you worry
Yeah,
about
I build it up.
do you worry about it coming up?
I don't. These are acrylic gouache.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. I watch Don Kilpatrick uses those and yeah,
They're nice.
yep.
Yeah, these are the ones that I normally use most of the time. All the time. Yeah. I'm not very precise with my drawing when I'm drawing these. Like I just do an approximation of what I want in the piece, and then I go back to the reference and sort of like paint the drawing as I'm painting. Like the dress has all kinds of vine designs on it that I don't feel like I should draw them. I just want to make it impressionistic and make it up with the paint and not so much with an exact drawing.
I think that's cool. You don't, yeah, not getting too tied down to the drawing. That's hard. That's hard to get away from too. I mean, it's, you do a drawing to get it there and get it right. And I know your attitude of leaving it loose enough to give yourself room in the finish. That's very smart.
It's just something that I've been attracted to from the very beginning of any sort of drawing. Just sort of creating the illusion of it being defined. If you want to use that word, because I mean, what is really defined? So just sort of creating that illusion is more attractive to me. The Impressionists did that all the time.
Yeah, it's sometimes though it's difficult, like to get away from it, to keep, to become dependent on your drawing. I think that's great that you're not.
Yeah.
That's looking just so cool.
Thank you. And these boots.
How big of a bucket of water do you have there?
It's a jar.
There you
I
go.
don't know, like 3 cups of water.
Yeah. Okay.
3 cups of water.
I laughed because George always wanted like a bucket.
Yeah, I know. He has
It's
an
the
actual
water state cleaner.
an actual bucket. Too much, George. Tone it down. I wish he was here to hear me. His watercolors are incredible.
Yeah, that's one of my that's one of my favorite things he does.
I'm also using the biggest brush I have to block everything out. To be as not precise as possible. No, I'm kidding. It's just because I want like an even, I want like an even flat layer. I don't want it choppy or muddy. So I'm using the biggest brush. Okay. Let that rest. It's kind of dry, but not dry enough. There we go. I'm gonna add a color to the palette. It's my favorite color. These paints. It's like this super hot pink. It's called Opera.
For which piece?
Both of them are probably gonna use it on. It's good for a white skin tone or rosy skin tone. Sometimes I have a test. I used to have a test strip to see how the color looked on the paper. And now I just use whatever napkin I'm using to see what the color looks like, if it's the right, because my palette is just so dirty. Can't even see what I'm doing. So what I do for the skin tone is I do like a light wash layer on it. And do a little touch of the pink. She's wearing something gold here. is this? Something green. Okay. She's still not dry. Oh, okay. Got some heels. What is on her crown? Okay, so we'll work on a different area here. While it dries. It's a little bit wet there still. And see the picture.
I ask the audience to continue to ask questions because I'm just mesmerized by watching her draw and paint.
Yeah. Any questions?
I love that you can be so immediate, and it's such um, a great process that you're using a work with workflow with the materials and everything because it's so immediate.
Immediate.
It you make a picture very quickly.
Oh, I see. On the spot.
On spot, and also it has so much oh there's a tremendous amount of interest in the material. A lot of the paint quality is really, really nice. Doesn't require a lot of laboring, requires a lot of deft touch, sensitivity with the material.
Let's see. Yeah. I practice.
Yeah, we all do, right? You practice hard.
It's just going back to things that you're used to, you're familiar with, right? So it comes a little bit easier than the first few times that you used it.
Well, you make it look easy. It was one of my favorite George lines. It's like if you could see me bleed through my eyes, and how hard this is and how much I practiced to get this good.
Yeah. To look like this, to make it look easy. There were so many blood tears.
Yeah, it used to really bother him when people would say, "Oh man, I could never do that. I wish I could do that. So I wish I had that kind of talent." And he would just like, "Oh, if you could see me bleed through my eyes."
Oh, George.
Do you ever use watercolors?
Yeah, I haven't in a long time. I prefer gouache. Even when I was little, I would prefer gouache over watercolor. It's just something about being able to build it up. Where's that picture? I just lost the picture I was using. Okay. And I'm not really trying to be super accurate with the can of flour.
As you keep working, do your brushes get smaller or do you try to stick with the same one all the way through?
No, I go smaller, but um, I normally stick to a 6 just because it lets it go a little faster. Um, yeah, just usually just a 6, but if I have really tiny details, then I go to the 4. Mm,
Who were some of the watercolors that inspired you?
What were some of them?
Yeah, who were some of them that inspired you with the material, with the watercolor?
Um, I wasn't really inspired by any particular pieces in watercolor. I was just inspired by the medium itself and just what it let me do. But I was looking at impressionist art most of the time growing up. And I was just trying to sort of imitate it with the watercolor. Um, the books that I was looking at, I mean, definitely had some watercolors in it by Monet, Manet, and Mary Cassatt and Sisley and all the impressionists. But I never really tried to imitate those. I was looking more at the paintings themselves, oil paintings. They're
So,
big paintings.
so just to clarify, this is regular gouache. This is not regular gouache. This is a acrylic gouache, correct?
Yeah, acrylic gouache.
What are the pros and cons? with acrylic wash.
This one doesn't reactivate when it gets wet. Regular watercolor, I mean, gouache does that.
So obviously that's not that important to you.
No, I don't really need it to reactivate. I mean, if I was doing a different type of piece that was more for doing like thin layers of paint, like hyperrealism does sometimes, or like those old tempera paintings when they were like very thin layers of paint over and over until you got this really smooth shapes on the pieces. I'm more into the impressionistic, more into the expression of the mark of the brush, you know, like not so much being very smooth, having very smooth.
Well, man, I'm loving the flowers. They're beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, not really concerned with being super realistic and having really smooth layers. Okay. Okay, so next thing I want to do is try to erase this pencil. I want to get rid of the lines. What I normally do is I let it dry for a while and then go in with a plastic eraser and get rid of the blue line pencil.
That's it's really beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm gonna send you a hair dryer for Christmas.
It's just, it would be so noisy, you know, to like use
Oh,
a hair dryer.
you can mute your mic.
I could. I should go get it, shouldn't I? Yeah, let's go get it.
Those are pretty stunning. So, okay, so she's been painting for about an hour. And look what she's accomplished.
Okay.
Did you get your hair dryer?
Did. Okay. I'm gonna mute real quick.
Go ahead. This is so cool. I can't get over how sensitive and interesting the mark making is and the paint quality. Say that while she's muted so she can't, or while she's using the hair dryer so she can't hear me. Wow. That thing come into focus now.
Yeah.
It looks perfect under the camera now, and the camera's really reacting to it well. Beautiful. So is it dry enough to erase?
I think so.
I'll ask a question.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I get, once it's dry, it's permanent like acrylic, but is it more opaque than gouache? So
Is it more?
is this more opaque than regular gouache? Acrylic, the acrylic gouache?
It's more bright. I wouldn't say more opaque. It's about the same opacity. It's just more bright color. The color is brighter.
More
I would say.
stronger pigment,
Yeah.
but less thin, but less thick than acrylic. Do you have some time to reactivate with water?
If it's still wet, yeah, but not after. It works just like acrylics after it's dry.
I always thought that was great to be able to erase the pencil after you've put watercolor or gouache down.
Yeah. Some watercolors don't let me do this. Actually, and it doesn't come off completely either. But some pigments don't let me erase the pencil at all. I go really into it too, like, except for the lines that I don't want to completely erase. and I go really hard on the paper with the plastic eraser. Kneaded eraser, I wouldn't recommend for this. It's normally pretty dirty and it doesn't remove the pencil altogether at all. Actually. Yeah. It's about as far as I'm gonna take the eraser, I think. All right. Now I'm gonna go back into the flowers. And define some areas. And also work on the fairies. So I'm gonna use like a yellow orange.
Are you just trying to give them more volume?
Yeah, just a little bit more value. Value on the petals themselves. Just a little more definition. Okay. Okay. Looking at some more details. The orchids. Mhm. Close up of the flower. I also can go darker or lighter if I make something really dark, and I can go lighter on it if I messed something up, for example. I can't really do that with watercolor.
Yeah, in watercolor, you're relying on the value of the paper.
Yeah.
You can, but you have no issues just mixing and going a little bit more opaque over the top of it to knock it back, knock something dark back lighter.
Mhm. That's also a plus for gouache. For example, can go a little darker. Do 2 flowers again. Her- Let's make her a green fairy. Make her an orange fairy.
This is looking so great.
Awesome. Try that.
Question from the audience. Have you tried several brands of acrylic gouache to find your favorite?
I did not. I used a recommendation from somebody online who was using it, and I just liked the brightness, how bright these colors were. No, I haven't tried any other gouache brands really. This is the one that I've tried the most. Um,
Does anybody have any questions about the challenge we have up right now that relates that they might want to ask Vanessa before the night's over? Feel free. Is this very typical of the commissions that you do for the cons and the events?
yeah, this is the regular progression of a commission that I would get on a show. This will be me at the hotel room after the show's done, just painting pieces like this.
So you'll get a commission and somebody comes back and picks them up before the end of the event?
Yeah, you got 48 hours to do it.
Oh, wow.
And I get an average of 10 to 15.
So much for going out to dinner.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me about it.
Go back to your room and go to work.
Yeah,
Do you do any of them at the table while you're there?
yeah, for sure. But between the people coming to get signatures and talking and asking questions, and you can barely get two or three done during the day. Okay. think I'm gonna go a little bit lighter on the edges. So I'm gonna be adding some whites and yellow in a minute.
Like you said, I'd asked this question before. How many events before COVID were you doing a year? How many cons?
Oh, not that many. Four or five a year.
What were your favorites?
Heroes Con in North Carolina. New York Comic Con. Emerald City. C2E2 was fun too.
I know there are a lot of work and a lot of planning. Do the publishers you're working for help you with that at all? Or do they want you? I mean, do they?
I don't know. At the beginning, when I first published a book with Boom, the first book I made, they took me to San Diego to promote it. But since then, I haven't been taken to a show by any publishers. They just had me at their booth, signing books and talking about it to people. And they gave me like a per diem, I think.
Well,
And that was it. Like I wasn't showing my work really at the show. Like it was just for them.
well, they should do that more often.
Yeah, right. It's more work when I go by myself. Um,
Do you ever share a booth with anybody, or
yeah, I normally do share a booth with another artist.
I know it
We
makes it a
can,
lot.
support each other.
Yeah, makes it a lot easier to have two people there that, somebody can cover the booth while somebody goes and get food or something, or just walk.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right now I have an art dealer that sends me to commissions to do shows. So they send somebody with us
Oh, cool.
that does all that.
And that is that
Before I had it, yeah.
is that just for the sale of the originals?
Yeah, but they're also there to talk to people, stay in the booth if we need to go to the bathroom, etc.
I just remember doing, taking the school to San Diego. That was like the hardest. It was so much work.
Yeah, it's not that fun when you're
Yeah.
behind the table.
Yeah. It's fun for a while, and then it just kind of overwhelms you, and
Right.
you just get so tired.
it hits me more the first day. Like the first day is just horrible for me. But then towards the end, then I start feeling a little bit more comfortable. But then I have to leave. So
Right when you get comfortable.
yeah, but it is a lot of work. Just getting up super early, setting up your table, trying to get some breakfast. You know, I get just coffee, go to my table, start drawing the commissions I have to do on that day, and then talk to people for like 8 hours at the same time. Try to draw your thing, and then in the middle of the day, try to get some lunch. And if you have any panels, and it takes like an hour and a half or so. I never get any chance to look at anything that's in the show.
Yeah, that's the wild part, is that you don't get a chance to walk around.
No.
I think you're going to go and see all this stuff, but
We don't.
you know.
Yellow fairy.
I'm really glad we chose this subject, because I really like this.
So fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
Yellow, orange. That is a little too big. So
Okay, here's a good question. How much did you send out your portfolio before you got your first comic job?
I never sent it out to anyone. I put my work up on DeviantArt, my comics, and that's how they found me.
Put it up where? Can you say that again?
DeviantArt?
Oh, DeviantArt. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if it's still going on. I haven't checked.
Not like it used to.
Yeah.
And that was information from a year ago, so I don't know if it, where it is right now or not.
Yeah, I just put it up, and then I got an email from Boom Studios, and I did that first comic with them, And then after that, I started doing more shows because that was my main, kind of like my main income, source of income at the time.
Doing the shows, doing the events.
Yeah, doing events. But through events, I got more jobs then to do some stuff for Marvel. And then from that stuff from Marvel, I got some Dark Horse books to do.
Who was your favorite to work for so far?
I would say Dark Horse has always treated me nicely. It's always been nice to me, and not pushy. They give me good rates. I don't have to pound them for my checks.
That's always nice.
Yeah. Marvel pays really well. But I don't really get that much work from them. And they're also very picky. Give me more direction.
More art direction than
More direction.
yeah. Was all, I mean, does all of that make you want to focus just making your own?
Um,
I
I
know that.
wasn't really that advanced at the time. Process wise, like I didn't really have a process honed in. Like I didn't really have a technique or a system for my work. So I feel like I needed a little bit more time working with a publisher first. But then, I started meeting people working in other publishers and doing other things. And then I think Kickstarter started becoming more popular, and people making projects on it, making their own projects without a publisher became more popular. People publishing their own books.
So do you think that's your future?
Eventually, yeah. I need more support to be able to do that because it takes a long time to write a book.
Right.
So I would need time, and by time I mean money. Yeah. How much time left?
1 minute.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
Yeah, it's about to turn 8 o'clock right now.
Wow.
But this was, I mean, You did an incredible amount in the time period.
Running a little late here.
No, you're not running. You can always finish it afterwards,
Yeah.
but it's great to see how it developed and how organically it developed. I just marvel at that. Someone's ability to just, out of thin air, without doing a thumbnail, without figuring, figuring out exactly what you were going to do before you move forward. It's great to see.
Scary.
Well, yeah, it would be for me. It seemed to bother you at all.
No.
This is looking great. So is the green figure in the middle below?
Yeah.
Is that finished? Is that how you want it?
No. I'm only working on details on this fairy right here, right now. Nothing else is resolved, really. I might leave some of these petals the way they are, but most of it I think needs some details.
Okay, so stop for a minute and just set it down. Yeah, that looks great. And just let the camera, yeah, because it's on, it's focused. Yeah, there you go. Perfect, right there. Wow. Let it come back into focus. That's amazing.
It's going out of focus.
Yeah, it's in perfect focus right now.
Interesting.
Looks great.
It's amazing. Really beautiful. Vanessa, I'm going to thank you for your 4 nights with us. Worth every minute. Anybody that hasn't seen all of them, go back and watch. You'll be happy you did. Thank you so much. Let's talk, because you just did that one for my granddaughter. So we'll have to figure that out. But I want to say thank you for all the effort you put into this, and everybody, have a great holiday season. And Vanessa, you have a great holiday, and we'll be talking to you very soon.
We'll be back in January, everybody.
That's right. We'll be back first week of January.
All right.
All right. Everybody have a great holiday.